again. Man, I thought I had it and it didn't start. All right. What is up, speckers, traders, and players? We are back for a special mailbag. This is hopefully going to be a shorter mailbag than we would normally do, only because I filmed this thing already and it was a dumpster fire. So it did not come out well at all. A bunch of the stuff was taped to the inside of the envelope. I fiddled with envelopes and boxes and tape way too long and just figured you guys don't want to see that crap. So everything here that you're going to see has already been opened. I'm just going to show you what came in. So first we're going to start off with one of my favorites, Mythos of Illuna. You guys know I like this card. This is pretty funny because these guys got stuck in a junk mail pile that I have. And I was going through the junk mail, getting ready to throw all of them out, and came across a TCG Direct envelope mixed in there with my Mythos of Illuna. So these are back from May 2nd, I think, of this year that I picked these up for. Just a little over $1, I think. I'm still picking these up whenever I find them cheap and in enough quantity to make it worthwhile. So continuing to spec on this, I still believe this card is underplayed. A lot of people don't know how good it is. This card is incredible. You know, you can play it, and if you pay red and green in the casting cost, and you copy a creature, it gets to fight the creature that you copied. So you can get rid of an opponent's threat, and then it'll copy anything on the board. So it'll copy enchantments, artifacts, lands, anything you want it to copy, it'll copy anything. For 2 colorless, 2 blue, I think this card is really rock solid in a deck, has a ton of uses. So I am continuing to pick that up. Next, I picked up some favorites of mine. Again, this thing is considerably depressed in price. As you know, I love the new art. I'm picking it up in foil and non-foil. These happen to be foil. As long as the foils are under $3 and I continue to find them in quantity enough that makes up for the shipping, or I can get free shipping, I pick these up. The art is fantastic. I love the new art, and Basilisk Collar was, you know, $10+ card. So to pick these up at $3, we are in a bear market right now. Magic has seen a significant downturn. Card values are not where they should be, in my opinion. And as we roll out of this bear market and back into a bullish market for collectibles, Magic being one of them, I see a lot of upside potential on this card. So I continue to pick these up. Now, one of the things that I've also done, I've talked about this before, is Card Sphere. So this was a Card Sphere order. This person sent me 2 of them. I paid under $3. It was like $2.40 or somewhere in that range. And because it was under $5, if it was TCG Player, I would have had to pay an additional 78 cents for shipping usually. And because it is on Card Sphere, and you name your price, you set your price, they pay the shipping. So that's an easy way, Card Sphere, to get singles that are not that expensive, that make it worthwhile because you don't pay shipping on them. They're getting the credit for sending you the card, and you're getting your card for less money than you would pay if you were buying singles on TCG Player or any other vendor, really, right? So I picked a couple of these up as well. Add that to Basilisk Collar. There we go. All right. This is an old favorite of mine. I didn't have a lot of copies left. Not necessarily a spec target, but they were cheap enough, and they go into some decent decks. So I decided to pick them up again, get myself a supply. I think I picked up 35 of these in 8th edition, and then picked up in the Urza's block the older frame and border, black border as well. Urza's Armor, it's an excellent card in Commander against token strategies or things like Niv Mizzet deck where somebody's doing 1 damage to you at a time. So, you know, this completely shuts down Niv Mizzet. It also shuts down a lot of token strategies, and even if your tokens are 2/2s instead of 1/1s, it's having your damage at that point. So it's a very useful card to have. I do use this in or used to use this in Arkham Daxon, and I think I'm going to put this back in that deck. So if somebody is pinging me for a 1 constantly, I can just go fetch this card and shut that deck down. So those are 8th edition, and then I picked up a bunch here as well, as you can see in the old frame, as I said. So just added those to the collection. If they go up, they go up. I expect that at some point they will go up. Everything in Magic, everything is cyclical. Markets are cyclical. Magic happens to be cyclical as well. So these were cheap enough that if they don't go up, it doesn't matter. If they do go up, then I can make a little bit of money. Next, I've been picking these up. Endless Detour. This card has a lot of utility. It is multicolored, green, white, blue. But for what this card does, I think it's an exciting card for me. It does unique things, and that is one of the things I use to determine whether a card is worth it or not. Does it do something that an existing card does really well and for less money, or does it do something unique in Magic? So this is an instant. It says the owner of target spell, non-land permanent, or card in a graveyard puts it on the top or bottom of their library. So there's lots of times where somebody's playing a spell. That spell may be uncounterable, and that spell may be devastating to you in the game, or not good for the other players in the game. It may be a win condition, whatever it happens to be. This doesn't counter the spell. It just returns it to their hand, and returns it and takes it off the stack and puts it in the top or bottom of their library. Of course, they get to choose. It also will do that with a non-land permanent, so you can get rid of a creature or a win condition, whether it's an enchantment or an artifact, whatever the permanent happens to be. And then you can also grab a graveyard card. Let's say you've lost a card, somebody killed something that you need, it's a combo piece, whatever it happens to be. You can put that on the top of your library if you choose to. So a lot of utility there, a lot of different modes that this card has, and you can do a lot of things with this card. I thought it was unique. I picked them up. They're pretty inexpensive, and card I like. I got them in foil, so as you can see, and they're good looking cards. I do like this card style in New Capenna. It's a really nice looking card style. So there's that. Let's see, something else that I've been specking on. Step Through. Step Through is a card again that does something unique. It doesn't look like such a great card. It's 5 mana, 3 colorless, 2 blue to return 2 target creatures to their owner's hand. That's not very good at all, right? There's plenty of other cards that are better than that. But what this card does do really well, and it's a niche ability, is this wizard cycling for 2. There are only 2 cards currently in Magic that I could find that do wizard cycling. Vidalcan Aether Mage, and sorry about that, and this card here. This was the second card printed with wizard cycling. It's literally a tutor. Now Vidalcan Aether Mage costs 3 for wizard cycling. This costs 2, so the cost is reduced by 1 over the previous card, and you can run both of them. But it basically lets you tutor your deck for a wizard, and so in tribal wizard strategies, this becomes a very strong card, a very good tutor card for those decks. And those decks are pretty popular, so I'm just throwing it out there. This is a very inexpensive card, budget card. It's less than a quarter. I think it's less than a dime even. And, a unique ability tutor for wizards. So very, very nice card. I like that ability. I started to spec on it. I got a bunch of these in foil here, as you can see. And then I also picked them up in non-foil in a decent amount of quantity here. These are all step throughs as well. So I did that. And then we're almost done. As you guys know, I love Rings of Brighthearth. I picked up all the foil Rings of Brighthearth full art and non-foil that I could find when they came out. I got really fantastic deals on those and picked them up every single time I could. This price has started to inch up on those, so I've kind of stopped picking those up. But I saw this one at a great price and decided to grab this. I do like the Kaladesh Inventions style. It's very, very nice, and decided to add it to my collection. So this is just a collection item that I'm adding. If Rings of Brighthearth starts to go up and hits prices anywhere close to what it did in the past, this thing is going to go bonkers. This thing is going to go crazy. This price will have been very, very worth picking it up at the price that it's at now. Anyway, so that, and then I've got this here that I decided to add to my collection. 8.5 revised Soul Ring, and it is a Beckett graded Soul Ring. So PSA or Beckett really is, I've got some cards that are graded by other companies, but PSA and Beckett are the gold standard for graded cards, I believe, and I don't know what's going to happen in this economy. Rudy from Alpha Investments touched on it briefly. If companies start to go out of businesses that have been grading cards, what effect is that going to have on the graded cards those companies graded? And so he made a good point that PSA and Beckett don't look like they're going to be going anywhere. And if you have a card graded by either of those two, that it should retain, its value very, very well compared to some company that started up and then within a couple of years went out of business. So I saw this. The price was pretty good. I decided to pick it up and add it to my collection. There we go. Now, the other thing that I do a lot with the Spec Targets. Whoa, hey, why don't you just kick that? I did. That I do with Spec Targets. I go to my local LGS. I've mentioned it a few times, Imperial Games here in Southington, Connecticut, and I go through their bin of cards that they've recently picked up. So this is the kind of stuff that was in there on the last couple of visits, and I'm picking these up. Rancor was 47 cents, I think. New Terminate. So these are all cards that I think have the ability to go up significantly in price. And so when I go to my LGS, I look through that bin and see what they've taken in, and I buy them if the price is within the range that I'm looking for. We've got Full Art Unearth, Bloodbraid Elf, Rampant Growth, Seeker of the Way. These are cards that are very, very depressed right now in terms of price. They're super cheap. Even if you look online, I think the next closest Rancor is probably close to $1 besides this set. And, once this set rolls out and it's gone, Rancor's going to start to go up. So that's the foil, another foil. Non-foil was 40 cents. So, if I catch the foil for 47 cents, I'm obviously going to buy the foil instead. Primeval Bounty was cheap. This is a great card. I do like this card, so I picked it up. This has been seeing some EDH play, so Commander play, so I decided to spec and pick her up. She's from Streets of New Capenna. All the prices in Streets of New Capenna, as you guys know, are super cheap. That set has been a dumpster fire for investors or for anybody looking to make money, make some quick money off that set. As you know, I'm not into making quick money, so I like the fact that cards are super cheap and stay there for a little while and then can gradually go up in price. I hope that people can look back at New Capenna and have some newfound appreciation for the cards in that set, and that cards will start to go up once we get out of this bear market. It doesn't seem like Nuka Pen is a set that saw lots of reprints, so we may end up in a couple of years looking back at that set saying, oh, that set wasn't that bad. It had a lot of really good cards in it that just ended up coming out during a time when the economy sucked. And now, since not a lot of boxes were opened and it didn't have significant reprints, those cards are going to be more sought after and not have a lot of stock available. This is the other thing too, like fetch lands. Fetch lands are super, super cheap right now, like ridiculously cheap. If you look, you can pick these up. I think this was, I don't know, somewhere around $30 for a Scalding Tarn. I mean, the last time I purchased a Scalding Tarn when before these reprints, I think they were like $100 or close to $100. So, that's 70% off, like 70% discount on fetch lands. And then they've got, they've got them in the old style, in foil and non-foil. So picking that up as well. Again, the economy sucks right now, which is great for investors. You want to put your money into something, into whatever vehicle you choose, when that vehicle is cheap, right? Stocks are cheap. You buy stocks now. You don't get rid of them. You don't sell them out of fear, thinking, oh my God, it's going to go to zero. It's not going to go to zero. They're not going to go to zero, right? So don't be afraid of taking some money that you have that you don't need. I'm not telling you to go out and put all this stuff on credit cards. If you have disposable income, set some aside so that you can put it into investment vehicles, whatever it is, whether it's stocks, whether it's magic cards, collectibles, some other type of collectible, is fine. Sneak Attack, Full Art Sneak Attack, pick that up at the local game store. The new Spell Pierce, again, super cheap. Unique art. I love that art. I think it's going to go up. Has a really good chance to go up. Vidalcan Orrery. I picked this up at the bottom. I picked this up last week, at the end of last week. It was down to $14. So I picked it up at $14, I think. And now it's already started to move back up, right? Some of these double master cards, looks like they hit their low. I don't know if they're going to go lower, but they did hit a low and have started to climb back up. So, I'm picking them up as long as they fit within my parameters that I've set for what price I want to pay. Mirari's Wake, again, another card that got a reprint here. Hasn't recovered, I think, really because of the market conditions that exist now. It hasn't recovered, but I expect that within a couple of years, we get out of this bear market, these things are going to start to move up. Again, Basilisk Collar, still picking that up. Rings of Bright Hearth, still cheap enough to pick up. Full Art Foil Cultivate. Love the artwork on this. I really do like a lot of the artwork that WotC has been coming out with for their cards. I love the full art or borderless look, and I love the artwork that they've commissioned for a lot of these cards. So still picking those up. Mirari's Wake in borderless here. Path to Exile is ridiculously cheap. Path to Exile used to be $9, $10, $11. Path to Exiles are like $2, a dollar something now. Pick them up if I can at that price. Again, at some point, it's cyclical. They'll go back up. I picked this up. I saw it, so I really like this card in borderless. I like the art. Grab that. Reflecting Pool, borderless, full art foil. The price was right. And then I'm going to be adding this, I think, to Reese. I'm going to try it out, see how it does in the deck. I really like this card. I think it does something unique. Yes, it's 5 mana, but you're in green, so 5 mana is not a lot. Basically, if somebody swings at you with a decent amount of creatures, right, you're going to pay 5 mana to look for X basic lands, where X is the number of creatures attacking you. And then you're going to prevent all combat damage that would be dealt. So not only do you survive that turn, but you accelerate your mana, hopefully significantly, so that when the time comes for your turn, you survive to your turn, you're going to have a decent lead in mana against your opponents. And we all know that, in Magic, the person who has the most mana tends to have a decent advantage against their opponents, and a lot of times comes out with a win. Not always, but mana is that resource is extremely important in Magic games, especially in Commander. And I think this card has a unique ability that will give you an edge and save you potentially from a game winning or a game loss from an attack from an opponent. All right, so that was the mailbag. I think that was significantly shorter than watching me open a bunch of envelopes and cursing all the while. So thanks for stopping by. Thanks for tuning in. And I think we've got a couple more boxes of Collector's Edition. I actually picked up an extra box today just so I could have one more. I said I was going to put that case away, and I don't want to open that case, so I decided to pick up a box. They only had one box, so I picked up the last collector box that Imperial Games had. So we're going to continue that trend later tonight. Hopefully we'll do a box opening again live. I like this live format. Editing videos is not something I'm very good at, and it's very time consuming, so I'm hoping to bring you as much content as I can through this live feature. Peace!